Assalamu alaikum, family. Can you all hear me now? Can you all hear me now? Cool. Today we are going to be discussing or listening to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he's going to be speaking about us being gods. And I would like for us to have a dialogue about this. We're going to listen to about half of the lecture, and we're going to listen to the other part tomorrow morning. For those who are tuned in on YouTube and Facebook, we are on the Zoom call, live on the Zoom call, and you can join us by simply texting the word nation to 833-276-7174, and I have it up on the screen. That's the wrong number. 74. If you are tuned in on Facebook, YouTube right now, you can join us directly on the Zoom call. You can join us directly on the Zoom call by texting the word nation to 833-276-7174. Let's open up in prayer. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, shall I be turned unto thee, striving to be upright, to him who originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not among the polytheists. Surely my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death are all for Allah, the Lord of the worlds. No associate has he, this I am commanded, and I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the King, there is no God but thee, thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I've been unjust to myself, and I confess my faults, so please grant me protection against all my faults, for none grants protection against faults but thee, and guide me into the best of moors, for none can guide me into the best of moors but thee, and turn away from me the evil and the indecent moors, for none can turn away from me the evil and indecent moors but thee. And O Allah, bless Muhammad, and bless the true followers of Muhammad, as thou did bless Abraham and the true followers of Abraham, for surely thou art praised, worthy, and magnified. And O Allah, make Muhammad successful, and make the true followers of Muhammad successful, as thou did make Abraham and the true followers of Abraham successful, for surely thou art praised, worthy, and magnified. Ameen. All right. Let's get to it, family. Thank you all for tuning in this morning. Here we are. Going to be tuned in to the minister. And as always, we want you all to take notes. And share what stood out to you at the end. Those of you all who are on the Zoom call.
Every important event in the life of a Muslim is begun by seeking the help of the Creator. I can't think of anything more important in my life right now than to be right here with you, speaking to the leaders of today and tomorrow. So we say, in our original language of Arabic, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. In the name of God, the beneficent, the merciful. All praise belongs to God, the Lord, the nourisher, the sustainer, and the evolver of everything that we see in creation. And that stage of evolution is ultimately to lead to the perfection of man. the perfection of government, and the perfection of man's service to God and to one another. I'm honored beyond words, and I'm grateful for the invitation to be here with you. I'm very grateful to Sister Yunajaha and her connection to the leadership of unity. And I'm honored by the invitation to be here with you this afternoon. I love the theme, strengthening self-identity, defining the you in unity. Who are you? What is your origin in the world? Since God never created anything without an aim and a purpose, what purpose did He give to the human being above all the creatures that He created? The greatest knowledge of all is the knowledge of God and the knowledge of self. These two knowledges are really one. When you know God, you know yourself. And when you know yourself, you know God. For we are made in the image and the likeness of God. So who are you? Where did you come from? What makes you, you? The Quran, which is the book of scripture of the Muslims, it says, God speaking, I created you from a single essence. And from that same essence, I created your mate. And from these two, I spread many men and women. In the Quran, He says He created everything in pairs. There's no man without a woman, and there certainly is no woman without a man. I love the way you pair each other together, a male and a female, in all of your committee structures. But here is the nature of us. You know, if you look at a dog, they're different species, but all dogs have a similar nature. So you're not excited when a dog barks, because that's the nature of the dog. When you meet a snake, all snakes are snakes. Some are poisonous, some are not, but their nature is basically the same. What is your nature? What is my nature? What is our nature? If you notice, when we come to birth, we lay horizontal because we're not strong enough to come up. The nature of us is not to stay on a horizontal level. You begin on a horizontal level, and when death comes to us, we lie on a horizontal level. But the nature of life is to walk in uprightness. So when you see your little baby crawling, the bend of the back is maybe 33 degrees to 45 degrees above horizontal. But when the baby finds something strong enough to pull up on, the baby will pull up into the natural position of the human being to walk in uprightness. When a person is upright, they're morally correct. When a person is upright, they are righteous in conduct and in character. No wonder Dr. Martin Luther King said he hoped for the day that man and woman would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. So the Quran says it like this: set your face for religion, being upright, the nature made by God and the nature in which he has created all men. So by nature, you are righteous. By circumstance, we are other than that. So when you know yourself, you know God. So David the prophet said, ye are all God's children of the Most High God. So when I'm looking at you, I'm looking at God. And because I know who I'm looking at, whenever I meet you, I bow with respect to you, because in respecting you, I'm respecting myself, and in respecting you, I am respecting God. Now, some of you read Scripture. How many of you refer to yourselves as Christian? Would you raise your hand, please? Okay, good. Then that means you're familiar with the Bible. So Jesus one day said to his disciples, or they said to Jesus, Master, when were you naked and we clothed you not? When were you out of doors and we gave you not shelter? When were you sick and imprisoned and we ministered not unto you? Listen to the words of Jesus. He said, inasmuch as you have not done these things to the least of these, my brethren, you have not done it also unto me. That's the dividing line between our service to God and our service to one another. If you begin to think because you have education, you're better than your sister or brother that doesn't have it. If you think that because you may have some acreage of land and someone else has none, that you are better. If you think that because you're beautiful, that your less fortunate brother or sister is not your equal, then you're beginning to think in a satanic way. Because when you think you're better, you act that way and you put others down. The Quran says, I created you into tribes and families that you may know one another. So here in front of me are over 200 tribes. But your essence starts from the Creator. So when you think tribal, you think weak. When you think at the root, you think Creator, then you see us all as family, as brother and sister. Strengthening your self-identity is strengthening your relationship with God first, with each other second. Now, being in America, you know what the native people have suffered, and you know what the native people continue to suffer. If everything were all right, we could go on and build a new world. But we have to correct problems that have been imposed on us through tyranny and oppression. So you're talking about the suicide rate among indigenous people. Why are we committing suicide? What has made us so hopeless that we think we cannot master the circumstances that remove hope from us? Why would you turn to a bottle when you're depressed, or to drugs when you're depressed? I came here today very high. Yes. And I wasn't smoking reefer. I'm high because of my connection to the Most High Creator. And so though I'm 82 years of age, my skin is bright like the sun because in my mind a light is on. See, you are not just mere man, you are God. And if you know what God means, it means one having force and power. So God never says there's something I can't do. Did you hear me? So God always knows He has the power to do whatever He wills. And since He made us in His image and after His likeness, the word can't should never be in the vocabulary of a human being. So since I know that I am of God and a little God with a little g, but I know who I'm in the presence of. I'm in the presence of God's. I don't have to die to see God. When I see you, I see Him in whose image we were created. So when I'm connected to God, that's the first connection. And believe me, when you're connected to God, you walk the earth in humility, but you are not afraid of anything that He created, and certainly not afraid of any man. When you fear God and God alone, then you see men as they are. We don't bow down to power or money. We don't bow down to those who have the superior weapons that they can dictate how our lives should be. We bow to God and determine what our life should be and remove every impediment in the pathway of our progress. That's who you are. That's the you. You don't have to look too far, look at yourself, look at your brother, look at your sister, look at the member of your tribe. Start there, but it shouldn't end there. Because as long as you are a tribe and don't see the unity of all, then you will remain weak and you will continue to be exploited by those who exploit our weakness. You are not powerless. You own 56 million acres of land. That belongs to you. Well, all of it should belong to you, but the trail of tears and moving the native peoples into land that they thought was the worst land. Now they find that among the native people are the last major mineral resources of this nation. But who is taking advantage of that? You have gambling casinos to take your attention away from the value of what's sitting up under your foot. So now we've got the you, and we've got a social relationship now. I love you like I love myself. I will not do anything to you that I don't want to have done unto myself. That's the best religion, my teacher taught me. Do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. That cements social relationships. But what gives us superiority over the animal kingdom, over the beasts of the field? It is that we are born into the world knowing nothing, but we are curious to know everything about this universe that we came to birth in. You are in the greatest book that there ever was, and your ancestors learned how to read it. They give you books with words. 90% of it is probably false, and 10% has value. But what is above your head, what is beneath your feet, what is around you, and what is in you is nothing but the truth. So when you burn that fire today, that fire was supposed to tell you that those who come to that fire have to be honest, have to be sincere, have to be clean and clear. You are truth. You are made from truth. You are a mathematical creation. That's what causes you to see, to hear. I saw the young sisters playing basketball. That's mathematics. You bounce the ball, you don't even look, but you give a back pass because you saw that person from another perspective, and your opposing team didn't know you were looking at your teammate. You can see beyond eyes, and you can hear beyond ears when you are wide awake spiritually. That's what your ancestors had. And that is what you and I must attain again. Your ancestors read the stars. Your ancestors read the earth and saw signs in the things that God created. That's why the ancient ones, they could sit in the tent and you could come in and sit with your elders, and they all had stories to tell you, Grandpa and Grandma. But today, who are you listening to? What is feeding your mind? Every day you turn on the television. What are you looking at? What are you listening to? Because if you keep putting into your ear the filth of this world, then as a man thinketh, so is he. So if I can make you think less of who you are, you act like that. That's why you drink, because you don't know who you are. That's why you smoke reefer, get high, and act a fool, because you don't know who you are. That's why you walk around on the reservation. I hate to use the word reservation because the Navajo told me they don't like that term. Say Navajo land. But that's why you walk around like you're less than who you are. The sister that spoke is a lawyer. You got to master the law because that's how they tricked us. You know all the broken treaties. When a man gives you his word and he don't have it, why should you trust him?
All right, family, we are going to stop right there with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. What did you all think about that? All right, we're going to go on Zoom. Those of you all who would like to share on the Zoom call what you got from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, press the number 1. Press the number 1 if you would like to share something that you got. All right, let's see. Anybody on the Zoom call, press the number 1. All right. Sister Brianna, go ahead. You should be able to unmute yourself.
There you go. Assalamu alaikum.
Well,
Grand rising, everyone. So, a couple things he said stood out. But one of the biggest ones is to pay attention to the child, right? Like he said that when a child stands upright, or when they stand up, they already know what to do. They even say that when children are sleeping, they try to face north, not the direction of whatever their crib is in, north, because that's what that's what we're drawn to. And it made me think about how we have to still relay that message to our people, because we are righteous by nature, wicked by circumstance, or whatever by circumstance. And a lot of us, like I know that we were just talking about this in the study group on Friday. What are some of the teachings that were hard for you to understand or that you had trouble with? And for me and a bunch of other people, they were saying seeing God in them because we did wrong, or we went through these trials, through these tribulations. And it's simpler to understand and realize that, okay, Master Prophet Muhammad is God in person. But then when you turn it to you, it's like, we got to build up there. Mm-hmm. So that really stood out. And it just made me think about how we have to keep striving to tell our people, because I was even having this conversation with one of my friends and cousin the other day, and they're like, no, we're not gods. And I'm like, no, but you are. You just have to realize it. We all are made in the image and likeness, which means you have to be what the creator is as well. So that was good. And the other one just went away. So it'll come back. But thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else on the Zoom want to point out what stood out to you from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan? I think we just have a misunderstanding, and of course we have been taught other than the reality of God. So when we believe that God is just some being in the sky, make no mistakes, and I can't be God or a God because one, God can't be in me, and two, I am imperfect. So how the enemy has taught us about God forces us to think whenever we do wrong, and they know we are always going to be doing wrong. Even scripture talks about, no, not one being righteous. So if they know that and got us thinking that the reality of God is not within us as our nature, force and power within a human being, as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, the moment we do something wrong, it's easy for us to call ourselves a devil. It's easy for us to think of ourselves as possibly being a devil or wicked, but it's hard for us to see ourselves as righteous or a God, which is why it's important for us to have the right teaching. I don't think there's anything wrong with teaching. I see many people all the time speaking about all we doing is talking. This is just Brother Ben X speaking right now. I think that talking is a part of that real work. I think telling the truth is a part of the real work. Why? Because it is a word that got us to change. The minister said in one of our study guides, or one of our books, he says, there's power in the word because it was the word that got you to change. Nobody put a gun to your head and said, stop eating pork. Nobody put a gun to your head and said, change your life. Nobody put a gun to your head and said, stop acting like that. It was a word that was put inside of our head that convicted us, that caused us to start to listen more to that self-accusing spirit within. And our thoughts started to change our feelings, which started to change our actions, which changed the way we were as a human being, which is why scripture don't say, be ye transformed by the renewing of the gun. Be ye transformed by the renewing of somebody forcing you. It says, be ye transformed by the renewing of the mind. And it is the mind that is changed by the word, by a different perspective. So I don't believe that just talking. I think, Jeff, you just talking just to be talking, that may be a waste of time. But if you're speaking the truth, speaking truth to power, I think that is a sacrifice in this world. I do think that is a part of the revolution in this world. So that's just my thoughts, though. Sister Randisha. Uh-oh, my bad. Make it to where you can unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Okay, so there was a few things that stood out to me. One was every important event in the life of a Muslim is by seeking the help of the Creator. That was one. Two was when you know God, you know yourself. When you know yourself, you know God. He created everything in pairs. When a God is upright, they are morally correct by conduct and character. Martin Luther King stated, the color of their skin, do not judge them by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. The next one was, by nature you are righteous, by circumstances we are other than so. David said that we are all God's children of the Most High God. The minister said, we are created in tribes and families. Essence starts from the Creator. Strengthening yourself, identify with God first and self second. God never said there's nothing I can't do. Can't should never be in the vocabulary of a human being. I was just thinking what Sister Brianna said about our children. So when I was actually going through what I was going through in life, my mom was on drugs, and it was just like really, really hard for me to just battle certain things. This is my personal story as it relates to the minister. And I was going through certain things, and I was just like, Dad, like I'm going through all of this. Like, God, like, where are you? But it was my 10-year-old daughter at the time that was like, listen, you talk about the minister, you talk about the messenger, you talk about these things. I need for you to get it right. Because you have installed these things in us, but where is your faith? Like, and this is how she said it to me. And I was like, hold up, I'm your mom. You don't talk to me like that. But it was her that made me get it right. And I vowed to myself, and I vowed to Master Farah Muhammad. I said, listen, as long as you have her here, because I gave birth to a God, I didn't know what I was giving birth to be honest. I just thought that this was some plaything. But when he gave me her and he sent my son to me, Rasul, it is different on all levels, because they hold me accountable as a Muslim, as a God, as a woman of God, and make sure that I'm righteous on all levels. So that was just my personal story.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you for sharing. Stroke Man ENT has something that you want to share. You can unmute yourself. Reuben said that was the Most High talking through her. Indeed. Which is why the minister speaks about us being humble, walking the worth in humility, because we can learn from babies. The truth can come from the babies, and they are pure. They pure. They haven't been tampered with. They haven't been too shaped in iniquity. We all born in sin, shaped in iniquity in some type of way, but they haven't been too tampered. So they, oftentimes, they just be telling the truth. They don't know how to hide it. My daughter the other day was too honest with somebody. I said, "No, you can't just say that right to them though. You right, but you can't say it like that. Golly, gotta learn how to mask it a little bit." But I don't see any more current ones in the chat. So I thank you all for tuning in this morning. Again, those of you all who are tuning in on Facebook and YouTube, you all can join directly on the Zoom call with us by texting the word nation to 833-276-7174. Text the word nation to 833-276-7174. And we are on Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. Central Time. Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. Central Time. One of the things that stood out to me is the minister just reminding us of who we bow down to. Not those with money, not those with weapons, but we bow down to God. And whenever he sees us, he's looking at God, and he knows who he's in the presence of. And this kind of goes off of what I was saying last week with when he was on the Roland Martin show, how he was able to see Roland Martin. And I seen many people in the comment section, which I knew was coming afterwards. Oh, see, I don't rock with Roland. I ain't with him. And it's like, we say we got this knowledge. We may have it, but our actions are lining up with the knowledge hasn't all the way closed the gap with the minister. See, we can know that we gods. We can know where we come from. We can know who the original people are. But lining our actions up with that is hard when the person has offended you. It's hard when the person has disappointed you. And the sister said it's easy for us sometimes to see the God in others. see God coming in the person of Master Father Muhammad, but we can't see God within ourselves. But that same problem also exists on the opposite side. We can have mercy and still know that we gods as individuals when we've done wrong, when we've sinned, when we've acted in thought other than ourselves. But when our brother and our sister has done it, oh, see, that's a nigga now. See, now he done went from a god, a king, original man, to a nigga now. But the minister is able to know who he's in the presence of, and he said he bows. The minister said, whenever I meet someone, I'm meeting my superior. Wow. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is saying whenever he meets someone, he's meeting his superior. The man who called the Million Man March and nearly over 2 million showed up. The man who has taught and resurrected and raised millions through the teachings. Yeah. So if he is able to think that way, and when he sees us, he's uplifting us and reminding us constantly of who we are, not necessarily always boasting and putting himself up. Well, dang, man, we can't do that. We can't see that. We can't say, yeah, I don't agree with what that brother said yesterday, but still see the divine God within each other. And that's why I say, when it comes to unity, when it comes to our condition, and when it comes to what we have to accomplish as a people, I think that the right teaching is sufficient. Now, the minister did say we ain't going to all be together. And that's true too. But many of us, the moment somebody do something wrong, we can't wait to settle on the worst part of the planet Earth. Not the best part. But many of us can't wait to settle on the worst part of the planet Earth. And we magnify that part and don't even try to see, well, maybe they had good intentions. Maybe they just got a different perspective than me. Maybe they was raised differently. Now, it may be the case that this person is evil, but we don't even go through the layers of figuring that part out. We just say, no, let me just throw him away. And the minister, from what I've seen, doesn't do that. So I guess I've inspired some people. I was going to end it, but I think I've inspired some people to press one. So I see a couple more ones. So we ain't got to go, family. All right, we're going to start with Ruben. Now, Ruben, make sure you in a good area, because I know you got something valuable to say, but all times you got a lot of noise in your background. So, and it'd be hard for us to hear you. So hopefully you're in a quiet space.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Now, I love what the minister said. He talked about us being gods with a lowercase g. So now, if you notice in the gospel, this is might redirect it, but it's going to direct it to what I'm going to say. If you notice it, he told unrighteous people in the gospel from the Old Testament, so the righteous one can come. So when the righteous one came and he told the Jews, didn't it say in your law that we are gods? And they got offended, saying that, oh, you're speaking blasphemy, but it says it in your law, so how is that blasphemy? You get what I'm saying?
Say that last part.
I said, when in the Torah, when Yeshua HaMashiach said to the Jews, he said, but didn't you say that we are gods in your law? And they felt like he was speaking blasphemy, but it was in your law.
Right. Yes, sir.
So it's just beautiful that you can see God in every human being, everything that's created, because he created us in his image. So what does that mean? We are gods with a lowercase g.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
So that's all I have to say right now. Assalamu alaikum, and I hope everybody has a beautiful, fantastic, amazing week, and keep uplifting, keep enlightening, and just keep seeking the Most High, because when we seek the truth, we are released. We feel like we feel that release. So when we know the truth, ain't nothing fearing us. No man, no women, nothing, no animal, nothing. Because when you walk with God and you talk with God, ain't nothing gonna touch you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for sharing.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. There it is. Here they come, y'all. Get ready. Get your notepads ready. Sister Kava.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Yeah, I was inspired to say two things. One was in reference to Brother Roland Martin and the minister being on the show. So when I first heard the minister speaking, he was talking about, of course, the memorial of Brother Harry Belafonte. But it was almost as though when you're saying about speaking, the word in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God, and became flesh. It was almost as I felt the minister was actually speaking the word into Brother Roland Martin. So sometimes, we don't understand how powerful the word is when Allah says be, and it is. And it was almost as if the minister was speaking that and giving Roland Martin that strength that he would need, and recognizing the strength that is in him, so that even so for the future, that strength would come out. So letting him see that he can see the God within, because sometimes we don't see the God within us. We don't see how we can, what it is, or the path that we're on, how it can be beneficial, even though we may have detractors. He mentioned how, Roland Martin makes, people accountable. So sometimes we feel like, a person is coming at us, and they may, but what they are doing in one sense, when they test our fibers or bring the opposite to us so that we can, learn to stand firm within ourselves. But it really felt like, to me, the minister was bringing that God out of him, or showing him, his track, and that, God is on his track. So yeah, all God's children of the Most High God. And then the second thing I wanted to bring up was in terms of what the minister said at the end of the speech, when he was talking about the word treaty, stood out to me. So a lot of times we have treaties, which is agreement, written contracts, or even verbal contracts with other things and other people. But a lot of times we don't see that natural treaty with the law, that natural treaty that makes us God's children of the Most High God. So we forget about that natural agreement that we have as babies, that natural agreement that when we do submit, or that when we do get in trouble, when our life gets crazy and we make full obeisance or submission and come into oneness with the law, sometimes we forget about that because the world got us everywhere. But that word treaty stood out to me and made me to think and to know that, if we're in our natural state, we have a natural treaty, a natural agreement with Allah. So that was it for me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for sharing. Brother Khalil.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I thought it was interesting that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan talked about the baby and how we come into the world lying horizontally. And I just thought it was great how he put it, how he said that even the baby has a natural inclination to want to climb up on something and to stand upright. And again, reminding us of our nature. That is our nature. But the enemy, who is skilled at what he does, he comes in between us and tries to sell us something artificial, something that's not our nature. And so, standing upright is, we all have this natural inclination to want to go upright, to stand upright, to be righteous. And when we're not being that, we're always disturbed. We get agitated when we're not being our best selves. even when we reach certain goals, you know, after a while, you still end up getting disturbed. Once you think you have arrived, something within you begins to, you know, disturb you and shake you up and say, hey, no, this ain't it. We got to keep going. But I think the enemy, he does a good job of coming in between what is natural to us, and our natural desires, and manipulating that. And instead of us reaching for God and his righteousness, he'll use that natural inclination to want to rise higher, and he'll make that mean money, or he'll make that mean a car, or he'll make that mean something material, versus us trying to reach righteousness and oneness with God a lot. And I know the minister has taught about the horizontal and the vertical nature of man, and he explains that, you know, staying on a horizontal level means that we're pursuing material things, but it's very important while we pursue those material things that we're also pursuing our spiritual development, so that way we're not making those material things God besides Allah, that vertical pursuit will keep those horizontal things that we desire in check, so that we don't fall victim to material desires, but we're always striving vertically and keeping those material horizontal desires in check. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for sharing, brother. Thank you for sharing. All right, family. We are going to wrap it up. Also, for those who are tuning in and maybe listening to this call for the first time, you can go to my YouTube channel and go to playlists. And when you go to playlists, you're going to see like a little podcast playlist, and it's going to say the power call. You can see all of these episodes that we've had so far in the morning on there. I'll also be uploading these audios to my Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts, where you guys can listen on your way to sleep, if you go on your way to work, if you drive trucks, for those who would like to just tune in, who may be listening a little late and can't tune in every morning. So I thank you all for listening, and you all have a black-tastic day. All right? Peace and assalamu alaikum. Family, I know we've been gone, but the tribe is back.
About 6 months, I did like 36K.
I made $89,000 right here from my phone, in my house, in a pandemic, just being me.
Some of you all know, and many of you all don't know, that we've been through a lot in business these last couple of years.
Because of Brother Ben X's course, I'm able to create content. Several videos have went viral. Several.
And although I've helped thousands of people through the digital real estate program, and we've helped hundreds of people through the tribe, we've been through so much that we have to share these experiences with you.
I didn't know I was going to get all this knowledge. My knowledge level was here. He took me up to here.
And honestly, we want to get back to our foundation, teaching people about mindset, helping them overcome those past traumas and be able to build together in a community.
What me and my team was talking about, all the rich nerds, what we was talking about was how Brother X broke it down to actually show you that digital real estate, what it is. He broke down on how to monetize your actual content and your intellectual content and monetize it and actually live off of it and change not just your life, but your family's life, your family's way of thinking.
For those who don't know, we've been the behind the scenes for a few companies, helping them make over $10,000 a month, things of that nature, but nothing compares to the tribe. Helping you all come out of your shell, discover your gift, and really impact people, and in return get income. There's nothing like it.
I had accumulated $10,000 in revenue within my first 60 days of joining and becoming a student. 31 months in, I have generated $125,000 as a student of Brother Ben and rolling with Coach Sean, man.
You was able to actually break down
the thoughts that we think we have and structure it and really show us what it means that a brand is more than a logo. A brand is more than just a culture. It's more so like, hey, what are you providing for your people? What do you really bring to the table? And you showed us how to actually bring value.
So we bringing the tribe back. We need it, and honestly, I know many of you all need it as well. Not only will me and Sean be teaching on sales, digital real estate, creating digital products, and growing your following and your brand online.
Not only has my confidence has built me up as a successful business owner, but I tell you, it's like, who do you know that can go out and pay, as they say, quote unquote, to get information to do for self? I don't think so. I don't know nobody.
But we're also going to be leveraging other people who we have relationships with as well to teach you guys credit, flipping mobile homes, teaching you guys stock options, real estate, whatever we don't have an expertise in, we're going to reach out to other people and have them come teach you guys in our digital income community. We're calling this the Digital Income Builders, but it's not just about the income. We're going to focus heavily on mindset, your spirituality, and your mentality to take you all to the next level.
I'm able to monetize now. I wasn't doing that before. I was trying to figure this out for like 3 years. Like, man, how you make money posting content?
Click the link below if you guys want to rejoin us. Come back to the tribe. It's only $50 a month, and you're going to get all access to the digital real estate program. So over $50,000 worth of value, you now have access to it, and all you have to do is pay $50 a month to have access to the community. See you guys every Tuesday at 7 p.m. All right, family. If you all would like to join the tribe, you can go to www.drecourses.com. A lot of that value comes because you're going to be on with 3 over 6-7-figure coaches every Tuesday. So not only are you going to get full access to the digital real estate program as a bonus of being inside the tribe, but you're also going to get live coaching every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. So if you're someone who wants accountability, someone to kind of hold your hand, we do homework. You get access to a private Facebook group. You can join at www.drecourses.com if you're looking to take your brand to the next level. We deal with self-improvement, the whole